10 Bible prophecies fulfilled. 1. Donald Trump will return to the presidency. The Bible foretells a figure who leads a national revival in America. 2 Kings 14:26 through 28. Amos 7:5 through 8. Trumpet editor-in-chief Gerald Flurry identified Donald Trump as its leader in 2016. The prophecy about Mr. Trump was not fulfilled during his first term. Therefore, Mr. Flurry said Mr. Trump would return. Based on this prophecy alone, we can be sure God is going to return Donald Trump to power sooner or later. He wrote in the March 2021 trumpet, God protected Mr. Trump from assassination and granted him victory. 2. Vladimir Putin will conquer more territory. When Russia invaded Georgia in 2008, Mr. Flurry wrote, Russia's attack on Georgia in August marks the beginning of a dangerous new era in history. This was the first military strike of a rising Asian superpower, and there will be more. Trump, October 2008. 9 years later, Mr. Flurry noted that Russian President Vladimir Putin was the prophesied prince of Rosh, Meshach, and Tubal, Ezekiel 38:1-2, and therefore would probably conquer more nations of the former Soviet Union. Putin's current invasion of Ukraine is further proof of Putin's prophetic identity. 3. The radical left will assault America's moral foundations. When liberals swept into both houses of Congress after the 2006 midterm elections, Mr. Flurry wrote that U.S. politics would be forever changed. Nancy Pelosi became Speaker of the House of Representatives and brought San Francisco values to Washington. San Francisco values will now permeate every major decision made by the American government, Mr. Flurry wrote at that time. Isaiah 3:9 prophesies that end-time America would declare their sin as Sodom, and the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, queer agenda that has taken deep root in America has proved Mr. Flurry right. Even Republicans now accept same-sex marriage as normal. 4. Britain will leave the European Union. Shortly after British Prime Minister Gordon Brown signed the Lisbon Treaty on December 13, 2007, the Trumpet published an article titled, When Britain Leaves Europe. It boldly forecast the withdrawal of Britain from the European Union would be a watershed event in the annals of Western civilization. This watershed event happened in 2016 when the British people voted in a landmark referendum to leave the European Union. Bible verses like Hosea 5:7-13 prophesy that Germany will forcibly invade Britain in the end time. Therefore, Britain could not be part of the German-led EU before this prophesied invasion. 5. China will take over more sea gates. Shortly before the United States surrendered the Panama Canal in 1999, the giant Chinese corporation Hutchison Whampoa took control of the American constructed ports at each end of the canal. Mr. Flurry later wrote in his 2021 booklet, China's dangerous move against America, that the Panama Canal is the gate that God promised to give the descendants of Abraham in the end time, Genesis 22:17. He said God was taking away sea gates from Abraham's descendants in America and Britain. Therefore, China and Europe would start seizing control of more choke points like the Suez Canal, Dardanelles, and Strait of Malacca. 6. Russia will frighten Europe into uniting, rearming. In 2004, Mr. Flurry wrote, Russian elections have recently moved President Vladimir Putin much closer to becoming a dictator. This strikes intense fear in Europe. The Russian election is triggering a fear that will hasten the uniting of the European Union. This forecast has proved true. Revelation 17:12 indicates that 10 European kings will turn over their power and might to an overarching political union. Russian aggression in Georgia and Ukraine has prompted European leaders to drastically boost their defense spending and political and military cooperation. 7. Syria will break its alliance with Iran. After the Arab Spring started in 2011, Mr. Fleury wrote an article titled How the Syrian Crisis Will End. Biblical prophecy reveals that very soon, Syria will no longer align with Iran. He wrote in 2012, it also shows that Germany will help cause this split. This forecast was based on Psalm 83, which predicts that modern Arab states will ally with Germany against Israel. A big part of this prophecy was fulfilled in 2024 when Iran pulled its troops out of Syria and Bashar al-Assad fled to Moscow. Now Germany is preparing to move in and fill the power void. 8. The Israeli-Palestinian peace process will fail. After a deadly stretch of 4 suicide bombings in 9 days, Mr. Fleury identified the Middle East peace process as a deadly wound. Is the peace pact with the Arabs the Israeli wound that God refers to in Hosea 5:13? He asked in the April 1996 trumpet. There would have been no peace pact if Judah would have trusted God instead of men. They would not be experiencing the flesh-shredding bombs if they trusted God. The October 7th, 2023 Hamas massacre and current Israel-Hamas war show that the peace process has in fact been a deadly delusion for the Israelis. 9. The Roman Catholic Church will turn the world against America. When Jorge Mario Bergoglio, or how you say that, was elected Pope in 2013, he immediately began attacking trickle-down economics and unfettered capitalism as a new tyranny. The Trump forecast in its March 2014 issue that Pope Francis would use socialist economics as a tool to turn the world against the United States. Revelation 18:3 describes a great false church in the end time that causes the merchants of the earth to ally with Babylon. In 2020, Francis launched the Council for Inclusive Capitalism with the Vatican. The partnership represents 200 million employees in 160 countries and has a $2.1 trillion in market capitalization. Its goal is to combat unfettered capitalism and the global superpower that espouses it, namely the United States of America. 10. Natural disasters would become more devastating. During the 1997 to 98 El Nino event, the trumpet noted, God uses these events to bring us back to obedience to his law, a law which will yield prosperity if obeyed. Since then, the cost of billion-dollar weather and climate disaster events in the United States has risen from $39 billion per year to $93 billion per year. Amos 4:7-8 say, God will punish the United States and Britain with droughts and floods, and it is undeniable that so-called natural disasters in these two nations are getting more destructive and far more costlier. 10 more little snips of Bible prophecy fulfilled. 1. Iran will take over Iraq. 2. Disease epidemics will get worse. 3. British royal family will fall. 4. South Africa will collapse. 5. America will move toward bankruptcy. 6. Race riots will intensify. 7. America will pay for its over-reliance on computer technology. 8. Egypt will ally with Iran. 9. Israel will turn to Europe. 10. Islamist terrorism will worsen. I hope this brighten your day. Hope y'all have a good day. Felt like I should share that.